Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us again. Welcome back to our channel. This is the Love is Healing channel, and in this channel we aim to teach you, show you, embody that love is in fact healing, that when we love ourselves we can love others better, and we can integrate, we can have more empathy, we can have open conversations, especially with those that we disagree with the most. And yeah, we aim to have respectful dialogue and open-ended questions, and just, again, building that empathy and those connections with other people, especially those that believe differently from us. Also, we focus on psychoeducation and all things trauma, spirituality, honestly, just what comes up. All right, please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you have any comments on this video. Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Magnolia Heaton. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And today we're talking about IITAP's CSAT program. Is it worth it? Okay. IITAP stands for International Institute for Trauma and Addiction Professionals. And what you have to do to apply is, you have to go through the website, you have to pick whatever program you'd want to apply for. They do have different certifications. And so, for example, they have CSAT, which is what I'm going for, Certified Sex Addiction Therapist. And they have other ones like working with partners in particular, like partner trauma therapist. They have multiple addictions therapists. They have some for pastoral people. They have Rainbow Advocate in Education or Clinical Specialist. So, and then what's the other one? This one is, that's a Spanish CSAT program, which they're working on building. And then there's webinars and there's supervision. You can apply to be a certified supervisor through them and things like that. So there are a lot of different programs. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. There's 12 different programs that you can choose from as of today, which is May 4th, 2025. So there's a lot of options. I'll walk you through the process a little bit. You go through, peek around, see what interests you, and then you submit an application, right? You have to pay a fee. You have to fill stuff out around like your licensure, or at minimum you have to be a graduate level mental health intern of some kind. And so you would do that, submit that. I don't know if they ask for liability insurance. I feel like they do. And then you get approved. It can take up to a few weeks. I think mine took, I was approved the next day or something like that, for which I'm fortunate and grateful. So that happens. Then you go through and you look at what the different requirements are for each of your program pieces. So for me, I'm taking the CSAT training. And so I have to take 4 different modules. Forgive the wrinkleness. The 4 different modules. So you go in, you find a date that works for you, and then they send you all kinds of information. Hey, here's what you need to know beforehand, kind of thing. And so for like module 1, there's a certain list of like different books and texts that are required and then recommended, right? And so it's that way for each of the modules. Okay. And so then for module 1 focuses on, let me talk a little bit more about the program. The program is structured to be completed within 2 years, I think, as of the date of approval. But for myself, I'm trying to complete it in about 6 months or so, which you can do. And I feel like that's probably the fastest you could do it, especially the way that the mods are scheduled. Okay. So then you take the different modules. Module 1 focuses on telling you a little bit about what sex addiction is. It talks a little bit about what to do when you have a client that has addiction. It goes through the book. It goes through some of the assessments that you have access to as a part of being in the IITAP community. And it talks a little bit about offending behaviors. It talks about the dark triad. And it also touches a little bit on narcissism. Module 2 talks about working with betrayed partners as well as couples work. Module 3 talks about love addiction, love avoidance. Talks about finances, financial well-being, financial betrayal, and it talks about interpersonal partner violence. Module 4 talks a bit more about healthy sexuality. And some people like the structure, which I do. I like the structure. To me, it makes sense. To me, it's developmental and things like that. Some people say that they would prefer to maybe have healthy sexuality at the beginning so it can help them kind of determine and decipher between healthy sexuality and unhealthy sexuality. But I feel like Module 1 covers that. And then especially if you ask questions and things like that, that'd be helpful to know. Right? The modules are 30 hours each. So that's about 4.5 days each module. So it is quite a time investment. It is a financial investment as well. It's an energetic investment, right? And then after that, and in between, right, you have to have supervision by a CSAT supervisor. And 10 of those hours, as of now, as of today, they have to be individual. And then the rest, the other 20 can be group supervision. So they classify individual supervision as having 1 or 2 supervisees per supervisor. So that's kind of cool. But then a group would be, I think, up to 6 people, right? And then groups can be typically 2 to 3 hours is what they offer. And for individual supervision, it is typically 1 hour. So there's a lot of options. There's a lot of supervisors. There's a directory that comes into for therapists, and it has candidates, and it has supervisors as well. So, I mean, it's pretty extensive. It's really supportive. Whenever you email anybody, they're pretty responsive, and I'm grateful for that. And then also when you finish module 1, you're able to have access to the listservs that exist. So email listservs, and people ask questions, they share resources, different things like that. And so far we have, you apply, you complete the modules, and you do your supervision in between. Like, for example, before you do mod 3, you have to have at least 8 hours of supervision. And before you do mod 4, you have to have at least 15 hours of supervision, right? So it is concurrent. And then after that, you have to take another course. And that course is free. It's online. I think you just kind of like click it, sign up for it, and you know, take it, something like that. Not quite there yet. And then you submit your final, you have to have right now at least 3 letters of reference for you who can attest to your work and things like that. And then I'm pretty sure that's all you need to have. Could be wrong. And then you submit the application. And so, is it worth taking the program? I think that depends from person to person, right? If you like high quality education, if you like taking robust courses, if you like learning firsthand from the experts, if you like being inspired, if you like being by your instructors, if you like being supported by a strong, self-aware, extremely intelligent, professional community of peers, then yeah, I would say it's worth it. It is a hefty financial investment, though. I mean, I'll leave it to you to check out what the different pricings are. They do have discounts for like early registration. They do have discounts for you registering for multiple trainings at the same time. Smack myself, that really hurt. So yeah, but again, you have 2 years. So like, if finances are a problem, you could kind of like take it bit by bit, right? So those are some things to consider. I mean, yeah, I absolutely think the program is worth it. I think it's great. And I'm going to make another video about my journey, but I think it's wonderful. I have absolutely no complaints. I wish that there were an option to take trainings in person. There isn't one quite right now. I guess they used to do that before COVID, but yeah, right now it's exclusively online, which is fine and it's convenient. There's a lot of people there. Like, I've met people from Australia and from the UK and the United States and Canada, I'm pretty sure. So that's pretty cool. again, the instructors, you can look them up. You can see, like, if you click on there, it'll tell you the modules, what they entail, and things like that. So there's a lot of information on there. Again, plenty of support. The speakers are experts in the field and even like trailblazers in the field. So that's really exciting for me personally. And it's not just about addiction. It is also about just life and trauma and different things like that. And it is an intermediate course, so you are going to learn a lot. Again, the education is extremely robust, which I appreciate personally. I need a lot of stimulation, and it is an excellent program, in all honesty. And then my last comment, I think, is, so I'm on mod 3 right now. I'm finishing it up today. But I will say that for module 3, it does focus a lot on yourself and your countertransference and things like that, and your areas of growth, which I very much appreciate, because I think it's our ethical duty to be able, as clinicians, to reflect upon ourselves and ensure that we're providing the best quality services for clients. I'm not quite at module 4 yet, but I'll report on that as I go along through this journey. And yeah, again, absolutely worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I love this program. I have been a clinician. Let's see, I graduated in 2016, so going on 8 years, actually. Yeah, here this month that I've been a therapist officially out of grad school. And I'm glad that I took it now, because even though I did love addiction, and I started addiction in the first place, I didn't have enough peers who had an excellent perspective on how to actually treat addiction, rather than from like oh yeah, well, just do what I did kind of thing. And I'll get into that in another video. But I went through a lot of extensive trauma training. That's my background. That's my home base. I'm excellent at it holistically. Complex trauma, right? And then I know that a lot leads into addictions, and I only went into complex trauma because there was a barrier there. There was a closed door there for me for working with addictions. Handled that. I went through EMDR training. I'm EMDR certified, and then now that's when I started getting into this CSAT program. But yeah, if you have any questions, drop them down below, and I will see you next time. As always, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. Please give us a like, share, subscribe. And you can find us at loveishealingllc.com for any bookings, trainings, collaborations, things like that. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and our handle is at loveishealingllc. Take care, everyone.